Matey, I'm going to need you to do me a favor right now. I'm going to need you to press that like and subscribe button. There's a little bell. Click on that too, and it gives you some wonderful notifications. So what's on the menu? Tonight, we chow down on some clam chowder and with King of Seas. King of Seas, is developed by 3D Clouds, and the publisher is Team 17. So today we're going to be reviewing King of Seas. It is a pretty basic kind of action-based game, kind of pirate, go on to different ports and stuff like that. But we're going to throw it first to Shane and see what he thinks of it.
All right. If anybody remembers my review on Biomutant, how I thought it was boring, this game makes Biomutant makes a Mormon on meth look exciting. This thing is dull. It had a really great presence at the very beginning, and then that's all it was. It was sail for 10 minutes, blow something up, most likely get blowed up, and continue. The story was blah. The character designs were cool for the little, the storyboards were kind of cool. That was about the only nice thing I can truly say about it. It was dull. It was one of those games that, again, kind of a cool premise, but they should have put more thought into how they were going to actually execute. I think the developer has talents, but I don't think this game showcases it at all. It's a snore fest. It truly, truly is, in my opinion. I thought it was a Game Pass game. I was wrong. It was actually paid for, so I'm sorry, Nick. But that's really, it's hard to say too much nice about it. It was just that boring. I would like to say something really, hey, at least it has this, but the animation, the character design on the storyboards is about all I'm giving you. That's really good about it. Pat, what about you, bud? What do you think of it?
This game gave me scurvy. I mean, it is kind of boring, I will admit. I thought it was going to get better the more you played it. And so I kept playing it thinking, when's it going to change? When's this going to happen? When am I going to do this? And it is a lot of rinse and repeat, and we'll kind of get into the mechanics of it. But it's supposed to be this procedurally generated pirate game, All the maps are procedurally generated with a decent story and somewhat decent combat, but the combat was very cumbersome to me and not very fun. Lots of skills, lots of just boring point my ship here, go there. So to me, it was a boring game for me as well. I didn't even find the combat that fun because it's just the same thing over and over. So outside of that, it gave me scurvy. Like I said, I had to pump the vitamin C after playing this game to get rid of it. Nick, what'd you think of this one, man?
Yeah, I liked King of Seas so much it made me want to play Sea of Thieves instead. Yeah, this game was boring. I don't know. For me, it was like, I wish it was different perspectives. So a lot of the trailers and stuff that they first showed off, or at least the ones I looked at, it seemed to put the camera down like where the boat is. Right. And so I was like, okay, cool. It's kind of like Sea of Thieves in that sense, or, maybe it's, even if it is, you're just the boat, which you are basically. I mean, you have a character, but you're playing pretty much as the boat. I figured, hey, cool. It's kind of that 3D, kind of like Skull and Bones look, Ubisoft mystery pirate game that they say are going to come out in some decade. I thought it would be kind of like that, but it's just a top down, kind of, not really twin stick, but kind of just a top down, go around your boat and shoot stuff and do little quests here and there, going from port to port. And it just gets really boring, and it gets boring quickly. I would agree with Shane. I think the storyboards were pretty cool, and I like the character designs and stuff like that. And, but the world itself is kind of boring and kind of, I don't know. It's one of the first missions in the game is you got to find 3 merchant ships and destroy them. That's like one of the first quests. And that quest is almost impossible because finding those things is like looking for a needle in a haystack or a boat in a giant ocean. right? I mean, you very rarely come across them, and you're like just sailing around aimlessly looking for these merchant ships that never seem to pop up. You can find every other ship in the game, even like the high end, like end of game ships, but you can't find these little merchant ships that are just all by themselves. They don't seem to exist. So, yeah, this game's just got it's not very fun. I just didn't really care for it. But Russ, what do you think of King of Seas?
I mean, I'm about maybe 70% as negative as all you guys. I mean, after a few minutes of playing, I kind of realized it was kind of like an arcadey kind of like boat, like you got trades goods, you got fighting, and it's really a simplistic game, and it's actually not too bad to get on there and play a little bit of it. It was probably perfect in the time frame that I had to play a game this week for this game, because it didn't, like you said, take long to get kind of bored with it. I was hoping, like Patrick too, that it would get better. I was like, okay, I got my second ship. I was like, cool, all right, I got the second ship now. Hopefully I get the next one, and that one has like 30 or 24 cannons on. I'm like, maybe I can actually hit something, because I only had 3 cannons on each side, and it was like a shot in a prayer, like, come on, I can do this. And you go up against another ship that has like 12 cannons on the side, and you're like, oh, this is going to be bad. But it is unfortunately does get kind of tedious. I don't know if boredom is necessarily the word for me, but tedious is definitely a good word for me in this game. Everything is tedious. I got to a point where you had to find 160 medicinal items, and I went to 2 ports. I bought them all out, and I'm like, still 15 short. And I'm like, okay, well, let me go find another port. I open up my map, and I'm like, crap, I've got to try to read this map. It is probably one of the worst mapping systems I've seen in a game. Maybe not the worst, but it is pretty rough one. And it was like just frustrating. But before I get too more into the things that frustrated me about the game, maybe we can switch up and say, is there at least one thing that you did like in the game? So let's start with Shane again and go round robin.
They had a Kraken. There you go. No,
so do
literally.
you, but that doesn't mean we like you.
That's right. No, they had the sea looked like it could be cool because you have Krakens that pop up randomly, pirate ships. There was a ghost pirate ship once. I couldn't do nothing because I had my little 3-man dinghy, so that was crap. But I don't know. Like I said, cool concept. Just they should have put more thought into how they actually wanted to do the gameplay. Like Nick said, the trailers, look like you're actually, down to the ship, and yeah, you can zoom in, but it's nothing like the trailer shows nothing like the gameplay. Really, it's kind of a false advertising thing. But I'm used to being burned on things like that. I wished it wasn't a bad game, because I really did want to enjoy it, because I like a good pirate game. I mean, we all enjoy Sea of Thieves, and another cool one would be nice, but that's my stance. Kraken. Pat, what about you?
I mean, the game looked pretty. It looked kind of cool. The ocean effects and the ships look cool, and your ships, as you add ons to the ship, it changes the looks of them and stuff like that. You can change the hull style, the sail styles, all that kind of crap. It had a lot of what I consider RPG elements to it. I mean, basically every element of your ship could be customized to the point to where, I could have a specialized crew, I could have different specialized sails, and they all had like stat elements to my ship, because your ship had like 3 different stats I think you had on it. You had like defense, attack, and then like magical. I don't know. It looked like, I can't remember what they called it, but the third stat was like a magical or whatever type of ability to it.
Like an effect status thing.
Yeah. It had like an RPG element to it. So I was like, cool, a pirate RPG game that's not too hard on the eyes. I mean, it's a little cartoony, but the ships look cool and everything. So it had that going for it, and just was hoping it would pick up quicker. But I'm with Russ. I think the bigger ships need to come quicker, because they give you that hunt kill mission early on with your little dinghy. And even when you do find the merchant ships, they're all much bigger ships than you, and you're not taking them down in the beginning of the game unless you're just, I don't know. If you run into anything, you take damage, and it seems like they kill you in 2 or 3 hits, whereas you're just sitting there pounding on them, and they don't die as very quick. So, what about you, Nick?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Pat. I guess the only thing I did like was the ship customization. What you could do with the ship, and again, how every piece had kind of an RPG aspect to it. Had stats and stuff. So that part I did like. Being able to customize my ship and change things in and out, and kind of determine on what type of weapons I wanted to use and things like that, and what I wanted to have equipped on my ship. I did like that aspect of it. But that's about it. The rest of it, not so much. It would be cool if I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what this game needs. I think just maybe better questing or, some better. I agree. Like starting out with a bigger ship or being able to kind of easily when starting out easily get you to where you could be better off, where you could have more fun. You could be more powerful quicker, I guess. But, it is what it is. They want you to kind of rise to the ranks in a way. So it's understandable. These types of games are kind of a dime a dozen. The idea, I should say, of rags to riches type thing. But, some of them do good and some of them not so much. And this one's kind of an example of not so much. But, oh well. What can you do? What do you think, Russ? What about you, man?
I mean, I think Patrick really hit it. Like you both kind of followed up with it. It was the customization, but to have a game that you basically make that's a grinding game. It's a grinder. It's not. It's not like they put you on a linear path, but you're actually grinding your way. So if I'm going to grind, well, I should be able to grind and get the biggest ship as soon as I get done with that portion of the grind. But no, you have to push your storyline in order to get the ship that you want. And that was, I mean, I saved up like 70, 80,000 gold because I saw the ship and I was like, yeah, I'm going to get that big one. And it was like, sorry, you're not ready to purchase it yet. I'm like, wait a second. I've got the money. Why can't I make it? Why can't I purchase it? And then in the next quest line, the next size ship was the Gideon or something like that. I think that was the second ship. You got that. And I was like, okay, I still have the same amount of I have the same amount of cannons. I can carry more. That's wonderful. But now my ship's twice as big, so they can hit me easier. And so it's like, and you have nothing that you can do. You can man up on some defenses and stuff. But, at that point, you start to run into pirate hunters. And heaven forbid if you have a pirate. I had a pirate hunter follow me from one side of the map all the way to the other. And I was like, and killed me. And I was so upset. So that's what I'm talking about. We're supposed to be talking about things that we like about it. I did like the customization, but at the same time, getting that gear was kind of a difficult thing because you either had to destroy ships or you're looting everything you can in between. And so you're almost always going to engage in a fight at any point in time once you get out of that kind of that circle of where you start at, the Eagle's Nest, I think it is. So, but anyway. Yeah,
yep, and that's funny, yeah, because to get the bigger ships, the first thing you have to do once you hit that story wall where you have to destroy 3 ships, and you're like, I'm tiny and I'm not finding any ships my size. They're all these large ass 12 cannon ships, and I'm like, I'm supposed to go against that in my little dinghy, and I tried multiple times in the beginning and died, and I'm like, all right, I finally end up cheesing it and running these guys in round circles around a rock. So they were firing into a rock, and when I would come around the rock, I'd have a couple open shots before I went back behind the rock, and I'm like, that's how I ended up doing mine, luring these guys around rock shoals and just doing circles around them since I was smaller than they were and I could move quicker. But it was not fun to try to get that far because I had loaded everything up to level 8 by the time I was doing that, and I was like, I'm still getting just trounced here. But it is a lot. Yeah, Russ, that is true. It's a very grindy game. You need to grab this stuff, run it over here to this port so you can make some more money, get some more gear for your ship, because your ship is your person. So you're upgrading the hull, you're upgrading the cannons, you're upgrading the bow, you're upgrading the sails, and upgrading the cannons and crew and first mate and all that kind of crap on the ship. So it is very grindy in that aspect. More so grindy than most RPGs that I've played. It's very, maybe it's because the story's not that long. I don't know. I didn't beat it because I got frustrated with you get the ship and then you're like, okay, I got a better ship. Let me go attack some more things. You want to do what pirates do. Attack and plunder, but that is not that's a pretty difficult task in this game. It's not like a thing you do for fun. You're just like, oh, it's going to make me go kill something. I better make sure I'm all ready and ready for this fight. Cause if you die, you lose the quest that you're on, so you have to start that over and stuff. So it's a pain. I mean, it's supposed to be this procedurally generated dynamic world with a fog of war while you're traveling, and you could pay map makers to open up sections of the map for you. The map is kind of annoying, as Russ was saying, but it's somewhat easier to follow. I mean, it has no mini map, which is typical with pirate games. You have to look at the big map and go, okay, I need to head this direction. Let me make sure I'm looking at that direction on the map. In my opinion, the combat was okay. You get like trigger abilities. Like the first one, I think you get, everybody gets the same one. I think is you get the little flamethrower in the front of your ship. But you have to be aimed right at them, and don't hit them in the beginning ship, because if you hit them, it does a lot of damage to your ship, and you're just like, well, crap, now I'm already hurting. So there's lots of just weird special missions and treasure hunts and trading. There's even some fishing in the game. If you like fishing, you got some fishing.
That's next game right there,
yeah.
fishing.
So it's got a little bit of a mix of everything. I do think it looks pretty, and the ships and the combat looks pretty cool because the magical shots do like magical color damage to the ships and stuff. So it's definitely an interesting game, but it just is too slow. I think the story builds you up way too slow. There's lots of reading because obviously it's not voiced over game. I'm sure the studio who brought us the plethora of games we've never heard of, and then this one, they're not going to do voiceovers for this type of stuff. So you end up reading a lot of stuff. I guess maybe I had higher hopes for this game, and maybe I was thinking it was going to be more like Nick said, like the Skull and Bones thing that we were getting from Ubisoft. And I probably should have looked at previous games this developer did, and I would have been like, oh, it's one of these guys. But I don't think the price was that bad. I can't remember what we paid. It was sub $20. So maybe $15 or something.
Well, I'll be honest. It felt like my wallet was plundered, and I believe this was Nick's buy. I mean, it felt like a waste to me. I mean, this is a definitely on sale $4.99 max game for me. It's the graphics, the cover of the thing is really pretty. It's everything underneath the skin that's just not right. But there might be people that are more into that, and great for them. I hope you enjoy it. I just wished it was a little more what I was hoping for. A little more like the trailers and a little less like snail's pace, slow grind. I'm ready to take a nap now.
All right. They tout this as like a combat arcade style game, but in my opinion, combat's like backseat. As far as how far I made it in the game, it is, because combat's too difficult to engage in it all the time. You're mostly port running goods from here to there because they want some wood, they want some candy, they want some medicine, they want repairs, and they want or this and that. And I felt like I was doing that more than I was doing the combat stuff, which is what I was hoping for, more of a combat based game. But it didn't lead up to that as far as I made it. Their combat was a side thing because you don't want to get your ship destroyed, and
well, it was like when you upgraded and stuff like that, it's like as the scaling of the enemies didn't work with your scaling, it was like, yeah, you were leveling up, and I put a lot of points and experience first because I wanted to level up and get all the traits. That's what I did first. And I got to about level, I think 27 or so, pretty quickly, but like everything went kind of with me. And then, so I've got this 3 cannoned, well, technically 6 cannons, but 3 on each side, going up against a 24 cannon military ship or pirate ship that's my same level. And I'm like, I mean, you want to talk about skirting some stuff. I was like, turn around and hoping that the spray of cannonballs and fodder that was coming at me would miss me, and then come around, shoot them, and then watch their little health bar tick off just a little bit. I mean, I think I had a 30-minute fight the other night. I was like, and I think that's what kind of did me over at the end. I mean, I ended up losing. It was frustrating, but it didn't seem like the game was hard. It was just, I was literally undermanned versus the ships that they were wanting me to destroy. So, but it does have some strong premise. It did look kind of fun initially, but it did peter out pretty quickly. So, I mean, it messed
with me.
Yeah.
Because of the whole right trigger shoots the right cannons and left trigger shoots the left cannons. And I'm like, I'm going south on the thing, and I'm like, left cannon, and I pull the left trigger, and that's actually my right cannon because my ship is facing south. And I'm like, God dang it. I did that. I don't know how many times.
To let our listeners know how dense. I mean, I think I'm a mildly intelligent person, but there was one point in the game where I was like, raising my right hand to make sure I remembered where the ship was positioned to make sure I was pushing the right trigger. I was like, wait, he's on the right side. So, okay, yeah, right trigger. And then it shoots.
He's on my right side, but my ship is facing the other way. So I need to fire the left side cannons. Oh my God. That got me so many times. I'm like, this sucks.
Oh, I will buy you each some gloves with an L and an R on it. Just don't put them on the wrong hand.
Well, that doesn't matter what you do because you're firing the left. If you click left, you're like, oh, I'm going to fire on the ship on my left. But if I'm traveling south, it's actually the cannons on the right of my ship.
See,
so it throws you off. It throws me off.
That was the one thing I didn't have a problem with. What got me was I kept screwing up with my sails. I kept, oh crap, slow down. Oh no, speed up, wrong button. I would, instead of dropping and raising, I would do the opposite half the time. That's what killed me.
Ironically, I didn't actually have any issues. That was actually what saved me in the first 12 levels of the game was my ability with that little ship was to haul ass and then turn it and cut out the sails and fire on the ship and then cut it back up and go. And that's how I killed a lot of those ships. I actually enjoyed the first little ship.
Hit and run tactics.
Yeah, I enjoyed the little ship more than I did the second ship. But in any case, there is some things missing in the game for sure.
Yep. Cool. Nick, what about you, man? You got any parting words for this game or anything that you want to add to it? I mean, I didn't think the ship battle was very fun. It was probably the least sought after thing because I just got trounced all the time. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, just, I don't know. It isn't a very expensive game, but it's definitely not a super fun game. So I would say if you're interested in this game or thinking about picking it up, wait for it to go on sale and then try it out. Cause I think you'll, at least if you don't like it, you didn't spend that much on it. So.
Yeah, like I said, $4.99. That's my top on it. It really is.
It's definitely a sale game, and I think we got it on sale. Wasn't it like $15? I thought, Nick, because I think it's normally $25 at full price.
Yeah, before it came out, it was on sale. I think like 10% off or something like that before it came out. So as long as you bought it before then, it was like 15 or $20 or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was sub 20. Yeah, cool. Anybody else got anything else they want on this topic? I think we've kind of said our piece. It's a weird little ship RPG game with procedurally generated worlds and lots of ships that are way more powerful than you, no matter what level you get. So it's very tactical and not very forgiving unless you dumb down the levels.
Yeah, it's sad, but kind of expected it in a way too.
All righty. Anybody else got anything?
Nope. Let's drop the anchor and sink this turd.
All right. Well, we got to swab the deck because rum and clam chowder doesn't go together. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. We hope to catch you in the next one.
See you.